Yo, I cannot hear you. Hold on. Is it? Hold on.
Okay, wait lang, wait lang.
Just say hi, okay? That's it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hold on. No, not anymore. Cause I'm still trying to get the audio on. I can't hear you, Tito Ice. I can't hear you, man. Hold on. Let me check my my settings.
Check.
There. I
Yeah,
can
okay.
kind of. There you go. Now I hear you.
Is it? Am I on?
Yeah,
Hello,
you're good.
Diego.
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes,
All
I
right,
can.
nice. All right.
Eyes.
So
Yeah, Tito Ice. How are
Yeah,
you,
that's Tito
Diego?
Ice.
You okay? You're growing up.
there you go.
You
Go.
can't hear me. All right. Okay. Hi. How are you? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm
Doing good?
okay.
Good. Nice.
I
Aren't you
drink
supposed to be in
water
bed now?
already. Yeah.
What?
He said he drank
It-
water already. He said he drank water already.
Oh, that's good. Yes. Hydrate. Hydrate. It's important. You need to hydrate.
Yeah.
I
See?
need to help me.
Yeah, you need to hydrate. That's what Tito said.
Right. Yeah. You need
Okay,
water.
so go there. You go there. You hydrate now. Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Oh.
right,
Good
go.
night. Love you. All right.
Good night.
Say
See
good night.
you.
Good night, Tito.
Good night, Tito.
Yes. Good night.
All right. Thank you.
Sweet
Try to be so
dreams.
much. I love you. I love you. Sorry for yelling at you all the time. All right. So, anyways, yeah, it's
Sorry
good.
for you all the time.
Yeah, I know I do, man. I do. Especially lately because I've been very cranky because it's our de-stress episode. So tonight, one of the tips I got from our program director, aka my aunt Bless, is
Right.
to focus on a topic so that people's interest will remain. And she blames me for it. I keep telling her, no, because Ison, we have this like this understanding when we used to do radio, and my aunt's like, no, you're the one that strays from the conversation. She goes, you're the ones that bring up all this silly stuff. You should be more like on point with what you're talking about so that people, like understand, because sometimes they don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm like, no, because we have this like language that we speak. And she's like, yeah, but that you alienate a new audience because you don't have like a particular thing. Like you should stick to one particular thing and discuss that. And I'm like, and I keep trying to bring up that it's like a common thing, like we're both guilty of it.
Right.
And she's like, no, but you're the one. Like she keeps blaming me for like
No, I
bring
think
up.
it's more of like.
And I think she's right. I think she's right. I bring up the silly stuff.
I don't
Like,
know. I mean,
like she said, I
I
initiate
go
the
along
dirty
with
talk. Yeah, she said no. She said I initiate the dirty talk and stuff, and I'm like, yeah. She's right. She's right. Okay, so we'll talk about stress, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yes. I mentioned that last night. So yeah, why not? So
And how to distress, how to fight stress. No, we're not pros, but we're gonna talk about what stresses out, what has been stressing us out lately, and then what other people can share regarding things that stress triggers. That trigger your stress, and that it can actually be a cause for. I don't know if it's a stroke, but just to let you in on it, and just as a warning to both of us, my dad, he's in bad shape now physically, but mentally he's still sharp as heck. And my dad has always been like a healthy eater. He eats fish. He doesn't eat pork much. He eats very little. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke, but he's in bad shape, like literally bad shape. And he's had a couple of like stroke episodes. I don't know if it's stroke, if that's a proper term, but I asked him, and they said, "But Papa, you've always been a healthy eater and all that." And apparently, his whatever it is that led to his condition now were triggered by stress. So you can actually suffer from a stroke like, you know, thing where it's not necessarily caused by you eating a lot of unhealthy food and living an unhealthy lifestyle, but more of stress. And that's what my dad said, that it was triggered by stress. So, anyway, Patrick, good evening. We'll talk about stress. What triggers yours? What are your stress triggers? What has been stressing you out lately? And how do you cope with it? And how can we cope with it? Hopefully, we'll find something that we can stick to in terms of that topic for the whole episode. So, Ice, I know you've been stressed out lately. Let me in on what's going on. I mean, stress doesn't necessarily have to be like caused by a bad thing. It could just be an accumulation of things that you have to deal with, and you know, and we're not good with dealing with pressure for the most part. So, do you want to elaborate on that? Because we haven't done this show in a while. Again, life in general is stressful lately. From Patrick.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. And yeah, like what you said, it's not really just a bad thing happening, but it's, I mean, all sorts of stuff that goes on in your life. You can have stress when, like for example, when my sister and my mom was here, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a good
No.
thing.
Yeah.
But I was doing a lot. Not enough time doing a lot, going to places, and if I am in my 20s, that would be good. That would be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm like in my 40s, man. You can't be doing that shit.
I know.
I mean, I know my mother's like in her 60s, but my mom was just staying here. For the most part, I have to work. Then I have to come home. Then I have to show them around. Then weekends would be busy as well. Then when I had my vacation, I traveled with them, and there was no stop. Even if they were around, even if they were just like, all right, let's just like uh, chill at home. But still, we cannot chill because there's like an outlet nearby, and we'd be like, all right, let's go to the outlet. And I couldn't sleep because, like what you said, I want to maximize my time with them. So, still not enough sleep. Even if I would, like, all right, I'm going to take a nap, right? I would tell them I'm taking a nap. Then I
Yeah.
would go in the bedroom, lie down in bed, but still I couldn't sleep. So I was just like, all right, I'll just get up anyway and talk to them. So
Yeah.
basically, it's just like doing a lot of things, and even if you're having fun, that's fine. But then when that thing is over, like when they left and everything was starting to settle down,
Yeah.
that's when it started to like my body started to feel the effect, and I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
having headaches, and like I was getting dizzy, and I was really scared. I went to different doctors. I went to my like my family doctor here, and he was like, well, you're okay, you're probably fine. He gave me some medication,
Yeah.
but I still like I I still feel it. So I'm like, I'm worried. So, all right, I'll go to another doctor. I thought it was something, that concerns my ears or my balance. Then I went to an ENT, and
Yeah.
she said, well, I don't see anything wrong with you. You don't have Meniere's disease or whatever. Like, you're fine. Your hearing's fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But then I mentioned about the head trauma. Like, well, I bumped my head. It wasn't really like a head trauma or something, because I don't think it was that bad. But it's still relating to head. And if you read stuff on the internet, you get more stressed because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, even if it's a minor or whatever, it can have that effect. And you start thinking that you have bleeding in the head or whatever. So I went to a bigger hospital. They took a CAT scan, and it was still, it's clear, and it's good news.
Yeah.
The doctor suggested that, okay, let's take an MRI, and the MRI was taken, and it's still, like, well, it's clear. There's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, and she asked me like, are you? I said, well, it's been better. So she's like, well, there's really nothing. So you're okay. I was like, well, can I do things? Can I like play basketball or whatever? And she was like, yeah, sure. There's nothing on your tests and whatever. So I think you can. So I was like, all right, fine. But I still didn't go up until last week. I started doing, a little bit of basketball, but I would go
Okay.
in there and like do some stretches
And
play
that's
like
part of
4 or
your
5 games.
distressing, right? Basketball. That's like
supposed to be that's like a part, but that's not really the stress that I'm talking about here, right? So that's well, we're talking about like not a bad thing necessarily happening.
Yes,
So I was
yes,
trying
yes,
to
yes.
do that. I was trying to do that last week and this week, and last night I played again a bit longer, maybe about 40 minutes, because usually we play from 8 to 10, and the first week I just went in there around 8:30 and played like few games, 4 or 5 games, but it's just like a game to 10, and we score like each basket is like 2 points.
Yeah.
But basically, I played around 20 to 25 minutes. Then last night I played about 40 minutes. But the last week I still felt like a bit like, all right, okay, so I'll stop. Last night was okay. I was running even faster. It was fine. But then when I made that 3 point shot, I felt something right here over, like just right, like below my neck, above a little bit above the shoulder, but just like I don't know if it could be the neck or whatever. So it didn't snap or anything, but it's like, all right, okay. I'm like, no, I'm stopping. So I was like, I stopped after that, and I didn't do anything today. I didn't go running or like walking. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take it easy today, but maybe I'll go walking tomorrow. So that's basically like part of like the things that you do to, because it says there like sometimes you get all these things like the symptoms because you're stressed, and
Yeah.
or the migraines are triggered by stress, or they're triggered by, I don't know, like anxiety or whatever. So if you have migraines or headaches and dizziness, to stop the triggers you have to do something that's fun. You have to, like for example, basketball is fun for me, so I have to get back to that, because even if like there's nothing wrong with me, but if I don't exercise and if I don't move a lot, my neck will, like what you have like a frozen, like what, like
Shoulder, shoulder.
shoulder, right? So
Right
like
now,
you'll have
yeah,
like
yeah.
you'll have
Yeah.
like stiff shoulders or stiff neck, and
Yeah.
that can happen because of the circulation. It happened to me like a few years ago when I had that like car accident, and I didn't go for 2 months, and I was like, why
Yeah.
isn't it getting better? But then I went back playing basketball, and it disappeared. So I think that's part of it. You just have to find something to like something to do that really distresses you, or
Like
that's
this.
fun for you.
Like this show,
Yeah,
right?
this one, yeah, like this show is so much fun for
So
me. But
sometimes it stresses us out more, though. Sometimes we end up
well,
getting stressed out because of the stuff we talk about.
no, not really, because we laugh about it. We laugh
That's
about
true. That's
things.
true.
We talk
That's true.
about stress, but we laugh about things because we are looking at we're looking at situations in like in different angles,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we kind of like laugh about it. Like here, for
That's true.
example, like last week, a lot of things have happened to me. All right, last week Monday, I got a call. Well, I kind of like knew right even before last Monday, but here's the situation. My job is an ALT, right? So
Yes, yes.
I'm a teacher. I go to public schools, and I work for a dispatch company. So it's like a sort of agency or whatever. So we're not really directly hired by the school, but there's like a dispatch company which provides service to these schools and provide teachers. So I've been working for my company for like dude, 15 years. Like I was in
Wow.
radio for 10, but I've been with this company for 15 years.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
was
Yeah.
like, all right, fine, cool. So I've got seniority. I was like in an indefinite contract, whatever. Because we're not like regular employees, but they sort of like played with the words like, okay, you're indefinite, supposed to be when you, because there's bidding, like for each city there's like a bidding. you
Yeah.
you might win, you might lose, right? So we've been in this place for a very long time, and we've always been winning, but um because there's been some changes in like in terms of labor laws concerning the social security, whatever. So they spent a lot of money last year.
Okay.
The city, I'm talking about the city, they spent a lot of money last year. So bidding time, which was like due last December. No, last February. So there's a bidding. So three companies went to present, and I think our presentation went well. We weren't there, but we have like people like who do that,
Yeah.
and so. Actually, my superior came back to me like, "Oh, it was positive, and we're expecting a positive result." And I was like, "Oh, I was so confident. Like, all right, we're gonna get it." Then even the teachers that I talked to, because they were like, "Oh, I sensei next year." Okay, I'm like, "Yeah." So it's like, all right, I'm psyched. All the teachers like me. All the teachers like my coworkers. There's like four of us there, and we're pretty good, teachers. So I'm like, all right, good. I mean, we're very likable, and teachers enjoy working with us. So we're like, all right, we're gonna win. So I was so confident because of that email that, oh, it went well, blah blah blah, and we're expecting a positive result. Then
Yeah.
the teacher was like always talking to me like, all right, I'm gonna vote for you. I'm gonna, like blah blah blah. Like, there's a presentation. All right, yeah, I'm gonna put my vote for whatever. Then when I asked him after that email, and I was so confident that
Yeah.
that we got it, and I was like, oh
Yeah. Yeah.
hey, sensei, blah blah blah. I was like, um, my supervisor told me about the presentation. He said it went positive. Like, yeah, but I didn't read his face. But then right before that, he was telling the kids that, oh, I sensei has about 3 weeks left with us, and so let's make the most out of it. But usually they say that to the sixth graders,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like they go to junior high, so I don't see them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he said that to the fifth graders. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, it didn't sink in until when I asked him, like, oh, sensei, have you decided yet? He was like, no, not yet. I was like, oh, well, what's the consensus? And then he said, oh, 80% of the people. I was expecting for him to say like 80% of the people that are like, okay with, but they were like, oh, 80% of the people inside a room who, voted, like wanted to change companies. And I was like, holy, what the fuck? Change companies? That means we lost. So I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
he said they haven't decided, but that's a done deal. 80%
So,
of the people
so
there.
that was
So
like a slow motion to you. You were expecting 80% of the people will actually, and then when he
exactly
said
like
change, well, yeah,
change.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
I don't know. You're like, whoa.
holy. So I was like, I couldn't sleep Thursday night, right? I was like, all right, calm down, calm the fuck down. You'll be fine. You're like, like you have seniority. Usually when that happens, your company would come back to you and like, all right, bad news, but we're looking at places where to put you. Because supposed to be that's my situation. Because I've been
Yeah,
there for
yeah,
15 years. Another guy's been there for about 20 years. The other
yeah.
guy 12 years. So we have like this indefinite contract. And it's like, all right, we'll be fine. So I was like so stressed out Thursday night. But then Friday I realized I'm like, all right, I only had like 2 hours sleep, man. 2 hours sleep. That
Really?
Friday night. So I'm like, holy
Well,
crap. So
that's
I
what
was,
you
all right.
get for not drinking.
That's true. That's right. I
That's
agree
when
with that.
drinking. That's when drinking would help. But go ahead.
Drinking would help, right? So I was
So,
like, all
so
right, fine.
yeah.
And I talked to some people, and they were like, "No, you'll be fine." I was like, "All right, sure." I was like, "All right, I'll wait until I get the call from my supervisor." And then I was like looking at our like website, and it was like, "All right, there are so many nearby cities that's like a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive that
Yeah.
has like open positions because they're like looking for people there." So I'm like, "All right, I'll be fine." Monday, I got a call. And I was like, all right, here it is. And it was like, oh, ICE, blah, blah, we lost the contract. And I was like, okay. This is like, because I already know that. I was like, all right, okay. And this is what he said next. ICE, there's even more bad news. Oh, fuck. I was like, damn it. You know what he said? He just said, like,
What?
there's nothing for you. Like, we have nothing. Like, really nothing. There's nothing. I
Okay.
was like, fuck, what the fuck? And I'm like, I'm like, I wanted to tell him, like, dude, you're like looking for people in like this place and that place. That's like literally like just right beside where I live,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
telling me there's nothing. So I was like, well, then I brought it up. I was like, oh, we do have contracts here, right? And you know what he said? It was like, oh yeah, yeah, like we have contracts around these places, but we already have people coming over from overseas. We just can't turn them away. I was like, what?
Okay. Is this
These people.
dude? Is this dude white or Japanese?
Well, the dude's American,
Oh,
right?
okay. So he's the guy
My
who's like
supervisor.
run. He's like the guy running
Yeah,
the thing.
he's my supervisor, and
Okay.
there's like a
Okay.
lot of people. Like he's just my direct superior. Like in
Yeah.
terms of like I like
But you guys know each other very well through the years, right? This is
Yeah,
not
I
like a
like
guy who you talk to
yeah,
once a year only.
but a few people already left, like the really senior ones, my first
Yeah.
supervisor, and I'm like I kind of like, oh maybe that's why they left, because I was thinking like why wouldn't they do that? Because it happened before with the other guy that I worked with, who's like 20 years with the company. I asked him what happened, and what happened when they lost the contract. He got a call, and it was like options for him. Like, all right, this is what happened. We lost it, but here are the options. It's either you can work here or here or here. Because supposed to be our situation, because we've been with the company for a long time, we are given priority. Like if something like that happens, we have to be placed first in these, play. Like even if they, like granting that these people they promise a job from somewhere,
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not here yet. They could still like,
yeah.
you know what? Something happened.
And you've been
We have
there, like, that length of tenure already alone should be enough to, you
exactly
know,
like,
make
and it's
sure
not
that
like
if
we all of my reviews were good. It's like like it's like five. It's like
okay, so how
Michelin
did it
review.
end? Like, so how, what's the end all and be all
Dude,
of this? So
he said the same thing to me. He said the same thing to the other two guys, and we figured out like, all right, so maybe what they're trying to do is to eliminate. This is just like a theory, right? It's not a fact or whatever. But we're just like, all right, maybe we're thinking that maybe what they're trying to do is push us out because we've been there for quite a while, and our
and bring in
salaries
fresh
are
blood.
yeah, because the fresh blood will be getting lesser.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I get it.
Now
I get what you mean. Yeah.
they're offering lesser money to these people. We're getting more money. So if they push us out, us getting this much amount, it will save the company a lot of money
True
like
that.
annually, right? So I was thinking like there's no other reason why. I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't keep it. Like we've been
Yeah.
doing this job for a very long time. We're very good at it,
Yeah.
and it's just like they just like like I hear that thing like, oh, we just can't turn people away. They're not here yet. Like they can find other things. In you're telling me that you can't find anything for me, and these people are not yet even here. They haven't even signed a contract with you guys, but they have like a sort of a loophole that like if they have nothing for us, there's nothing. Like even if they do have something, but if they won't give us anything, they say, "Oh, we have nothing for you." Then
I,
we have
I
nothing.
actually wish that they did that with radio too. I mean, I know it's not a good thing for you because obviously you're getting kicked out because they couldn't afford you anymore, basically. But I hope they did that with radio too. But with radio, it's like we just decided to leave because they weren't adding anything to. It's not like they couldn't afford us. It's like they wouldn't fire us because they didn't have to give us a raise for all those years. And you know what I'm saying? It's like it's different when you can't afford a talent anymore. It's like you're not renewing his contract because his contract is a max contract. So you can't like Gilbert Arenas or like maybe like a Kyrie Irving or somebody. You're like, let's bring in a Ja Morant with like a rookie or somebody would get less but be as dynamic or maybe not quite as experienced and seasoned and well known. It's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of like the game that was played with you guys. It's like you did this, but yeah, you're right. I think you're right because it's not a coincidence that you guys are being put in this position and that there's also these new batch that's coming in, right?
That's
Because I
true.
mean,
That's true.
because I mean, if there's no new people coming in, then you'd understand that okay, it's really just the fact that there really isn't anything available for anybody for that matter. So, but you know that there are going to be new hires, and all of a sudden there's no excitement over finding something for you guys. You're like, okay, it's because you're right. The company will save money, and they're willing to take the risk of having, maybe obviously a drastic downgrade in the performance and quality of the teaching, but obviously they're probably willing to take that risk because they think through the years those guys will probably be on par with you guys as well, and they won't have to pay those people that much.
Yeah. Plus, there's been a lot of changes in how we do our jobs lately, so that could be it, and that's why maybe the city decided to like, all right, let's go another way. Let's go for the cheaper companies because I mean,
do you,
mostly
do, do you guys study to like like for example like for the policemen, right? If they want to be promoted or they want to, and like even my aunt, I was talking to my aunt, she's a retired lawyer, and she said that to regain her IBP status or integrated bar of the Philippines membership, she has to kind of study certain things to refresh her law knowledge, and the new laws that were implemented and shit. And she's like, I don't want to like, I'm retired. I don't want to study again. I don't want to like take refresher
nope.
courses or
We
whatever. You don't have
well,
to do that like through the
the only
years, like
thing,
just to
well, the
upgrade
only
your
time
teaching.
that happens is when because we're not really okay. Here's the thing: we're teachers, but we're not really teachers because we're not really licensed teachers.
Yeah,
So
you're
what we do
through
is
an
we show
agency. You're like through an
right.
agency, right? Yeah.
So what we do is we help out the actual teachers to teach the subjects. So we're like tools for them. The only time that happens is, for example, like I've been in the elementary school for quite a while, and if they move me to a junior high school, I might have to like do a refresher course, which is provided by my company, And but I've done junior high school before, and it's not that much. There's not that much difference. So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, but it's not really like you have to take a test or whatever. There's nothing like that. So
Okay.
basically, you just have to be really good with, you know, like you really must have people
So,
skills.
what's your
And
advantage over like this new batch that's coming in? Is you're more seasoned,
yeah, well, I'm more
or
seasoned, and even
or in
even
terms of
before, not
like tools and
compared
stuff,
to
they have the same
compared
things that you
to
have.
the new batches, and because I don't think well, experience plays part, you know, like that's a factor. But even when I first came in, I mean, yeah, it's mostly, I think it's mostly how you, you know, how you carry yourself. Like I think this is more of a personality thing, because when you get in, it's more of like
Kind
you're
of like our
selling yourself.
radio careers, right? Kind of like our
Yes,
radio experience.
that's why I said it's very close, because it's more of
Even if
like
I'm
you
not a
go to,
even if I'm not a mass comm graduate or I didn't
yes,
take any radio course or whatever,
yes,
and some new guy comes in and he's a UP guy and took up mass comm, graduated with honors, took up
right,
radio, all that stuff, but never
mm,
really had hands-on radio experience for
right.
the length that we've
I
had.
mean, even if he's like a mass comm student, but if he's not that
I'd
interesting,
bet on
then
myself over that guy
right,
anytime,
exactly,
right?
right. So it's more of a personality thing, because people, they must like you, the teachers must like you, the kids must like you, and you know, you do your job. But even if you're really good and you do your job, but then the kids don't like you because you're off, you're awkward, I mean, you're not gonna get good reviews, and you know, like
Okay,
they're not gonna be happy with you.
let's do a
So
quick
that's basically it.
refresher for the people who are tuned in because we actually have a unusually more people than we usually have. I mean, well, like Mike, Mike Marshall is obviously was part of the Killer Bee family. He was part of our. Mike, were you with Killer Bee or Magic already when you were with us? Mike now is a hotshot at a call center. He's a call center bigwig now, so he's joining us. Mike says, my favorite people. What are we talking about? Mike, we're talking about stress triggers.
Stress, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
stress
whether at
related.
work, whether in life in general, like what Patrick said. What triggers what are stress triggers for you, and how do you distress? How do you deal with it, especially in the call center business? I'm sure you guys are under pressure a lot, and I know you guys party a lot too. But I don't know if that's how you distress. Do you? I know you probably go shopping whenever it's payday or something. But for Ice and myself, Ice was just recently, because he's had a whirlwind of a week, and it's a career defining thing for him. And I've had quite a whirlwind of a week as well. Nothing in the not quite on the same gravity as Ice's dilemma, or I don't know if it's a blessing in disguise. So Ice, just to conclude on your situation. So what's the end all be all of it? I mean, is it? So are you now
So
in search for a new job, or what, are
I
you
was in
leaving the
search.
company? Are you what's going on?
So okay, here's the thing. I've always been, um, well, I always, no, because I heard this from my uncle like years ago, when he said something, and it, you know, like it stuck, you know, like it stuck, and I would always go back to that if, you know, something bad happens to me. Like
Yeah.
he said this so many years ago. He said, you know what, you're a lucky guy, you're a lucky kid, you've always been lucky. And he said some things about like, well, why I was lucky, and I was like, then I would, you know, I would look back at, I would look at my life and I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah. So what happened was I got that call and I was like, holy crap. Then the next day he called me and was like, all right, I have something for you, but it's really far. It's like 65 kilometers one way drive. So that means I have to drive like what, 130 kilometers, like, you know, round
Every
trip
day.
every day. And it's like in the mountains too.
That's far.
It's far. So I'm like, but I'm like, I'll took it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I took it. I said, I'll take it. Better than nothing. And it was like, all right, but I'm gonna use a company car. I'm not gonna use my car because it's really far.
That's the fuel.
It's
Yeah.
like, and he was like, all right, fair enough. So, but then we had another option. So my wife started working. She worked her magic. Then eventually I got like a sort of like interview, and it's, well, basically it was really kind of funny because the guy was like, well, I don't need people anymore because I overhired. But then when my wife mentioned like, oh, you know, my husband has been working, we're like, what? And like, okay, like, and he can drive, and what's his visa? Like, well, he's a permanent. So like, all right, well, tell him to send me a resume, and I sent my resume, And then we started talking. Then all of a sudden, the wind, like blew in a different
Changed.
direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
change.
it
Yeah.
changed. So he was like, "Oh," he was like, "Oh, if you come work with us, blah
I
blah blah."
actually,
He's
I
like,
actually
"Well,
underhired.
no," he said like, "Well, I actually need two more people." I was like, "Oh, can you go and do a trial, whatever?" So I went and I did. I think I think most of the people there liked me. Or I think probably all of them because he was like, "Oh, is this sure? Like, are you telling? Like, please tell me that you're not going to change your mind and you're taking this offer." He was like, "So this happened by Sunday, and Tuesday at night, like two nights ago, we talked, and the offer was official, and um the first offer, the first salary offer, he was like, "All right, I'm gonna up it up." So he upped it up a bit. So I'm actually earning like much more, and he's giving me more money for my car because the thing is, it's also far. It's still a 50-kilometer drive,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's really hard to get there. So that's why he really needs a teacher there because like it's far from the train station.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's nobody consistent staying there, and there's all of the teachers there are women. So
Okay.
he needs a guy
Well,
there.
that's
He's like,
nice.
well,
I'm sure you're like,
yeah, but it's
"Pa-ting!"
not that I can. It's not that I can do things there because my wife used to work there.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
knows
yeah,
my
yeah.
wife.
I know, I know, I know.
So the thing is, like, I can, like I would go there, and but the problem is this is not a public school. This is a private international school, and I will be teaching kindergarten. Now I can enjoy longer holidays because I have like the whole summer break. I have a 40-day no work
Blessing
but
in
paid.
disguise. See, I
I know
told
that's what I'm
you.
saying, but it
Lucky
was so hard
kid,
for
like
me.
what your uncle said. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, 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 no. Like no, the previous job was like that. Now I don't have that. I have to work. It's not like I can have that summer break. So I won't have a
Oh,
summer break.
okay, all right, all right, okay.
I won't have a summer break because I will be working my ass off the whole year. The only
Because this
break
is
that I have,
private. Because this is private. It's not public anymore. Public would
yeah.
observe certain things, right?
The advantage is you get to be tenured after 3 years. I mean,
Okay,
they take care of you. But
okay.
with the dispatch companies, yeah, they always tell you like, okay, you're working, but you're not. You're getting paid, but you're not working in the summer.
The song.
Huh?
All right. So there's like,
You have to poop?
I was just singing a song.
Oh, okay, good.
all right. So when like in the summer I get 40 days off. In the winter I get like 3 weeks off. In spring I get 3 weeks off. That's in the
My phone.
public school.
My phone.
But if I move to my
My
new
phone.
job, I would only be getting
Thank you.
like 10 days in the winter break. Then in the summer we have the obong, which is also 10 days. I get
Mm-hmm.
like the golden week, which is also 10 days. So it's like
Okay.
more or less about 5 weeks that I don't have to, plus the national holidays, right? So I'm like, oh man, I will miss that time with snow. Like I have that really long break every time that I was able to teach her how to do like how to ride the bicycle, like with her piano and everything. So I spent a lot of time with my kid for the last 8 years, and now that will be all gone. And I would have to be, like I would leave early, maybe around 7 or right before 7, and I would come home around 7:30 or 8. Now I leave at 7:30 in the morning, then I come back around 4:30. That's like shorter hours, right? But then
Yeah.
I was saying like if I stay in this job and after 3 or 6 years this happens again, I'm surely gonna die because I cannot take that pressure. When I'm 50 and I'm still having that stress, I'm probably gonna have a stroke or probably a heart attack. So I need stability. So now I have to. I think it's just fair that I mean, if I'm in the Philippines, if I'm working in a bank, it's the same story. You don't get that summer break. You don't have that.
Yeah.
You're not a student anymore. You're working. You work the
Yeah.
whole year.
Yeah.
But I was just lucky to have a job that was like for 15 years that I don't have to work in the summer. That's why I always go home, right? But I'm getting paid. But yeah, I mean, but financially it's more, like I get more money, but then I work more. That's fair. But then there's stability. So I was just like, all right, fine. I just have to accept that. And I was like, all right, I have a few weeks more, and I have to. It will be a new life. So I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know if it's like because I will be the main person there. Now I'm just the assistant. There I will be the main teacher. I would have to, like talk to kids if they're having a bad behavior. I have to talk to them. I have to tell them that's not right. don't do that, don't fight, stop running, no running, no pushing, put your pencils down, you can't be walking with a pencil. So I am responsible for these kids. These are, I don't even know if I'm handling 5 or 6 year olds, but it's quite a challenge. But I'm like, yeah, I
Well,
mean,
congratulations is in order. I think it's about damn time. Sometimes it takes a door closing for a window to open. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes we get stuck in a rut. We get stuck in a rut. I mean, I'm not saying radio was a thing and it held you back from whatever, but hey, you wouldn't have been a teacher. Well, you were a teacher already, actually, when you were doing radio, but you wouldn't have been a teacher in a different country with that situation. And now another door is open because a certain door
no, right?
closed for you. But you know what? Hey, man, at the end of the day, your uncle was right. You're a lucky kid. Even when you think all the chips are down, something comes up, and I think that's a lesson learned too for people going through stress, because sometimes when we're going through a period of stress, like you had 2 hours of sleep, dude, you will not. A lot of us do not know what all of us go through, and Patrick, Louis, whatever. Some of these people go through situations where it's like there is no solution to this dilemma. Like we create all these dead ends for ourselves, and sometimes you realize that you're not really Nostradamus, and it's actually kind of good to be pessimist or to predict a bad turnout than a good turnout, because then it's you get more appreciation out of a good news like you did. And I'm happy for you, man. I mean, I know when you mentioned that you were going through a lot and there are a lot of uncertainties and you were talking about work and whatever, I kind of also felt like there's no way for someone like you who's a hard worker, who has a good performance record, who it's impossible. It's just not. It wouldn't be right if no door like that would open up, and you probably would never consider that situation that you're currently facing now, had that situation you're in not sort of, give you that, I wouldn't say freedom, but I mean, so you're no longer part of that group, right?
I will finish my contract this month, and I will be working for the other school right at the end of the month, maybe
Oh,
around.
there you go.
I will
So you
start there on the 29th. Like we that is set. So I'm just like waiting for the school days to be over, and after that I'll be like I'll be driving far, and I'll be coming home late. So I've been briefing Snow about this, and I've been telling her like now it's mom's time. It was dad for the whole like for the past 8 years. It's going to be mom and you. Like I won't be here early. I would be here around 7:30. So you have to do things with your mom now, and
Yeah.
and I think she understands. So I'm like, all right, we'll see. And like my wife's also talking to her and like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. Your dad's gonna be working far, and like he's gonna have a new job, so he won't have much time with you on the weekdays. So you
Yeah, but
have to
look at
understand
the
that.
look at the bright side. Now you can spare a little bit to get her a Switch later, right? So
That's what she said. That's what she said.
yeah,
That's what
there's gotta be a silver lining for her too. Hey, you know what? Daddy's not working that hard for nothing. Come on,
I
I
thought she
knew
was
it.
gonna be sad, and she was like, "Yatta, switch kate." She was like, "Buy me a switch. You have money now. You can buy me."
Yes, you should, dude. Come on, I knew it. I knew it. I was like, I knew it. See,
All right, great
Snow
minds think
Chan.
alike.
Exactly. Come on. You know.
She actually said that. She was like, "All right, so you're gonna have more money, Papa. All right, okay, you can buy me Switch now." I'm like, "What the
Yes,
heck?"
of course. Kids will think that, okay, less time. Like if I told Raj that, like, Raj, Papa's going to be back to the grind. I'm going to be working again. I'm not going to be here to wipe your butt and, like, follow you around and breathe down your neck. I'm pretty sure he's going to say, Pa, you're going to upgrade my laptop? Because, I mean, it's going to be pointless for me to not be around. What am I doing? Like, wasting time? Like, if I'm going to be out there, there's no improvement, or I'm not even going to be able to have anything to show for to my kids or to my family, then what's the point? But I think, hey, dude, you should, that's the first thing you should, because you should get so that you feel that, hey, not that you couldn't buy it. I mean, like, you could buy that now if you want it. I'm just saying, it's like, now that you have that and you have this exciting thing going on, and I think I like it.
Maybe
I
a
think
little bit, right?
I think I like it for you because like you're more in control, and like you said, it's more of like a direct thing. Like you're no longer like a passive employee. You have more involvement in it, and you said like after 3 years you gotta have tenure, you gotta have that, and it's gonna be you're not working for nothing. It's like it's not just it's now an investment. It's now an investment when you're working. All those years that you did for that previous thing, that prepared you for this. So now, when you're working your butt off, when you're doing all this, your fear is kind of because after what you went through, if this didn't pop up, you'd be like, oh shit, we're all expendable, right? It's
And
right.
it's a good thing that it happened this
It's
year
a good
because
thing
I
that it
will be
happened.
45. I'm gonna be
Exactly.
45 in April. So I'm like,
Exactly.
all right, it's a good thing that this happened. This must have happened for a
Thanks for
reason.
reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. I'll be 50 and this year. There
I
are
must do
no
this now. I
jobs.
need
There are
stability.
no more jobs out there for me. I have to start
Dude,
something. I
dude,
want
you're
to do.
if I'm lucky, you're one lucky son of a bitch too. Because dude, you're like you have been comfortable ever since, and you will be. I
Dude, I'm
I, I
not.
suppose.
Dude, I'm not. You know what? Like you
Some
said.
people are just so lucky. Like I'm lucky. I know I'm lucky, but dude, you know what? If like we have our own luck, but you're probably luckier. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah,
have to get out of my comfort zone. You didn't have to leave your comfort zone, right?
You,
And
you
you're
know,
okay. You're
you,
fine.
you know what? You know what's funny is that like for people like me, I don't really have a choice. I'm not much. If you say somebody's lucky, like if I like someone like me who probably relied on luck for the good duration of my life, yeah, of course, luck is plays a role, but I also have to be where the luck is. Like I can't necessarily say, okay, I'm gonna go to this place. That's where I want to be, and that's where luck is. No, I have to sort of make sure luck falls on my lap. So I have to be in that. Whereas with you, you're more in control of your situation because you create your own luck. So you'd be like, you know what I'm saying? You have more of a say in
No,
it.
you know what?
Yep.
No, that's not really true. Because if we switch places, I would I would do exactly the same thing you're doing right now. I will not change a thing. I am not kidding. Right? Me and my wife, we talk about it. Like we would talk about like your situation as well. I'm like, well, yeah, if I'm him, I'm never gonna leave. Why would I leave? Right? I
That's
don't have
true.
to leave. In my case, I have to. It wasn't really like I have to, but it was more of like a lot of people be like,
But you
oh,
know
you need
what?
to.
But I'm
I was like, all
happy for
right.
you, man. I'm happy for you because, you it's like you you milked your previous employment for what it's worth, and now what's the fruition of that? You were able to move to a good neighborhood. You're now a homeowner. All that stuff, and you have established a portfolio, a resume that has that good record. And now that chapter is closing, and now you have this new thing coming up, and
It's a new thing. It's a new thing. That's true.
not very many people have that coming in at their mid
It's
40s,
actually an eye opener because I realized that wow. I mean, when I left that job that we had, I cried. I cried so hard, and I was like,
You
was
did.
the most devastating thing that ever happened to me. And I was just like, no, I can do this. I was like, all right. I've been so complacent for the longest time, having these long breaks, and I was just like, no, I
Okay,
think it's
answer
about time to
Patrick's
grow up.
question because I wanted
All
to
right.
ask that same question earlier. Yeah, I want you to answer
All
Patrick's
right. Okay.
question.
Patrick's asking, how do you detach yourself from the students and the people that I've worked with throughout the school year? Um, you know what? Here's the thing. I've maybe throughout the years that I've been in like sort of similar business, I've been in radio. I was like so attached to that, the people that I work with, and the listeners and all. It was very hard for me, right? So when I started working here, I get to know my students, and the students like me for the most part, and I'm always the fun guy. And some of them now are like the students that I had before. There's like this one kid who's like I had him since he was like first grade, and I saw him one time at a restaurant. He's now like Daigaku Ninense, that's like college sophomore university student. So
Yeah,
that's like what like it's been years, and it's like I
crazy, right?
remember his
It's
name. It
crazy.
was like we ordered dessert, and like he was like I was saying something, and he was like I sensei, and I was like Kotaro, and I'm like wow, and he
Crazy,
and he
right?
was so happy. I was like, how's your sister Haruka? I'm like, oh, you remember my sister? Like, yeah, of course. It's just that there are students that like you have these fond memories of them, and I was like, and I told my wife about like that kid. He was like funny as hell. Like the teacher would like punch him, like not really punch him, but like that sort of you know like jokey punch type.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's like three of them who were like really crazy in that class, and I was like, well, he was a fun guy until he was like in junior high, and now he's like all grown up now, but I still see him as that dude. But yeah, I'm like I kind of like it's sad, but it's not really as bad as when I left radio. So I
Yeah.
think because my first love is actually radio, so it's like I've learned to deal with these things. Although it's kind of sad because you see them
Hmm?
go,
The
and
internet is bad.
it's
What?
yeah,
The
it's
internet is
Yeah,
bad.
just
it's kind of.
I've kind of learned. I've kind of learned. So I try to just enjoy and like make fond memories while I'm there. But when it's I keep some of their like messages. I just the important ones. But yeah, some of the kids are kind of sad when they're like, "Oh, we're not going to see Ice Sensei anymore," and we're not even telling them that I'm not coming back. Like the fifth grades, they would be expecting to see me next year, but I'm not going to be there. So that's kind of sad too, because But I've learned it's just
But
you need to
at the end of the day,
compartmentalize.
at the end of
That's true. That's true. I need I like if you're a family man, you need to do what you can to be able to provide because that was my stress last week. It was like I cannot have a job. I
yeah.
cannot have a job. I'm
You
paying
were you were
insurance.
a lot more worried about that than well, all's well that ends well. I guess I'm glad that there's that goal at the end of that. Well, there's a rainbow after the rain. I know you're familiar with the South Border song. I know you love that song. Na na na
Right,
na
right.
na 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 na. Na, 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 na. You know the lyrics? You know
Dude, your
the.
shoulders, your shoulders, your
I know.
shoulders.
You see it? You see it? You see it? Dude,
Yeah.
go
Carry
ahead.
forward the sunshine
No,
after the rain.
no, that part. Na, 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 na. Okay, go.
Take a little time, baby. See the butterflies color. Na, 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 na. Like I'm like,
Na, 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 na.
yeah,
There's a rainbow after the. Whatever. I
that's
forgot,
true.
but
Yeah, but that's like, yeah, it's more of a love song. But
it is.
whatever.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. It's like after a
But okay,
breakup,
hang on. So let's
You
go to your
after
story.
after
What happened?
after a breakup, you find your wife. Well, that's what happened to me.
That's true.
So, anyways, all right. So here's what happened. Okay. Well, like you, I also had to deal with a visitor coming in, and you dealt with your mom and your sister. I dealt with my aunt, and my aunt, she's older. I don't know how many more trips she can make. Overseas trips. So. I'm just glad she looked in great shape when she arrived, but she got sick when she got here. She had the cough. She was, she had a stomach flu, and well, she's not in town right now. She's in Vietnam. She left the other day, and then today. No, she left yesterday. I brought her to the airport, and then today, I think she left for Vietnam. So she's in Vietnam with her friends, I think, as we speak, and she'll be back like next week or something. But either way. So I had to deal with that, and of course I had to show my aunt around. We had to deal with some stuff that her concerns. But a lot of her concerns are in Manila because that's where her properties are. And I was supposed to go to Manila. I was supposed to bring my kids even to see my dad and stuff. But I don't know if that's gonna push through because Raj's classes are not done yet, and I'm really thinking twice about traveling with Diego at this stage because I've been hearing horror stories of flights being delayed, and it's not really, it's not a good time to travel with a child, basically, especially someone as active as Diego. So we might have to move that trip, even though I know my aunt wants my presence there to assist her in the handling of the property that she has and the whatever. And I don't know if I might fly to Manila on my own, and just stay there for a couple of days, but we'll see. So I was kind of under that dilemma as well. And then I have this recurring shoulder issue where it's not like isolated to one. A couple of years ago, it was on this side. And it's like a frozen shoulder thing where all of a sudden, it's like nabikil, where it feels, I don't know what lisa means or bikil or what, but it's like, yeah, Iceman does look like Duncan Ramos, like the that new guy in
Actually,
South Border.
I had
You
I heard that before,
you
but
do you do you look like Duncan Ramos. I know who that guy is. So and there's this other guy, right, who looks the opposite of Duncan Ramos. There's like there were two of them, right? There were two additions
yeah,
to
much alike.
replace Luke Ferraris, right? Luke Ferraris, Luke
Mijares.
Mijares. Bricks
Yeah,
Ferraris was the first guy, right?
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, which was Amy Perez's ex or something. But anyway,
Right.
so I can only lift my shoulder like up to
But you're
here.
okay now, right?
I mean, it's improved. I mean, I went out to see my cousin just this afternoon. They're flying off to Bacolod and back to the States, and it's a cousin of mine on my father's side, and it's so
So
shout out
all
to
right.
RJ.
All right. So what's the recovery? Like period. Like
You know what? The funny thing is, my wife keeps telling me to have an X-ray and all that stuff, but I've had it before. It usually lasts 3 or 4 days, so it's improving. Tomorrow's gonna be like the fourth day, but I literally the past week I've been very cranky. So I'm apologizing to my kid, to Raj, and to my son Diego because. They breathe the wrong way, and I will be like, like I literally am like, I was just like, and I get why old people are cranky because maybe they're suffering pains that we never understood when we were younger, and now I'm going through it, and it's just something I have to accept. I don't know if it's arthritis that's being triggered, but
could be that.
it'll
Like
happen.
my headaches are longer now. Like
Yeah, it's like that. It's like, but this is like literally painful, like throbbing pain. Like at night, I can't sleep. I'm literally moaning, like because of the pain. I'm like, because it's like my shoulder. It's not like it hurts when I move it. It's like literally I'm not moving it, and it's just there's pain.
did they
And
tell you that you need to be moving more? Is
no, no,
that the
I've
case?
no, no. It's like maybe it is. Maybe that's what I should be doing. Like maybe I should be forcing the mobility of it to get circulation.
Or
And
no, like probably not now. But when you get better, should you be like be more active? Is that what they're saying?
no,
That you
no,
should,
and nobody's saying anything
improve
because
circulation?
I've never got it checked up. But the last time I had it on the
Ew.
other side, I just
Are you self-diagnosing yourself?
yeah, yeah. I'm like while like reading stuff, and it's actually very common.
Yeah, you're self-diagnosing, right?
It's
Yeah,
very
right.
common. There's like rotator cuff something. There's like frozen shoulder.
but
Some
dude,
people say it's from your
that would
sleeping position,
that would
but
stress you out more if you're just like relying on the internet. You better go
no,
to like an actual doctor.
no. I'm actually less stressed with the diagnosis that I've been reading because it's more of like, just ice your shoulder and shit. It's like normal. It's like normal. It's normal. If I have it checked up, I don't want people saying, oh, it's actually connected to your heart and you're dying and shit, So it's like, so I attribute it to, because the only recent physical activity that I did involving any of my upper extremities is lifting the water bottle, to refill the water
Yeah,
bottle,
yeah.
King.
Don't do that anymore. Don't
Yeah,
do that.
it seems like that's the one that like aggravates it and triggers, or you know it triggers the shoulder issue again, and it just depends on which shoulder I end up carrying it the wrong way, and like it doesn't always happen. But anyways, okay, shout out to Alain's concern. He said, Ice, you still have time for the podcast though, right?
We'll find out because
Yeah, I know.
I will.
Yeah, probably
I
like
will
he'll
have-
probably be in a lot of hurry. Like he'll probably like,
Okay, hang on.
okay,
Here's
welcome
the
to
thing.
Okay, bye,
No,
bye, gotta
here's the
go.
thing. Here's the thing. On the first week, it might be like 'cause I will be adjusting, right? So usually with all these things, like I usually have all the energy. I'm just like anticipating, like, all right, I'll be moving, I'll be doing more things. I'm dealing with like kids here. I have to watch them like a hawk, right? Because like they're my
You
responsibility.
yeah you will be assessed also based on that, right? Like that's part
Yeah,
of your
exactly.
performance grade.
So
Yeah.
maybe on the first week, because it's entirely new. Well, it's not really entirely new because I've been in kindergartens, but I'm not the main person. So now, but then I've been in camps where you're actually like you're in charge with the kids. So I would say that it's similar. It's just that I'm dealing with much smaller kids. It can be a good thing, or it can be, yeah. I think because people be like, well, they're small, but no. I mean, you can teach them anything, and they would, like they respond to it. So I think that's a good thing. I will find out on the first week, but I'm definitely gonna be doing this because this would, de-stress me as well. And
Yeah.
I'm not just this. Like I'm thinking about like my basketball too, because like, will I be able to do basketball? like physically, that's like stressful. Here, that you just like sit down and talk.
Well, but
This
probably
is nothing.
probably the first, yeah, the basketball requires you to have to drive to the, well, probably like maybe the first couple of months or something. It's understandable that you have to focus on that fully. But once you have it lubed up and you got the gear running and you're starting to get it through the system,
Right? Yeah,
the
it
new
would be.
system,
Yeah, it's no
I'm
sweat.
pretty sure, it's,
And I'm definitely
you
gonna
know,
be doing this. So yeah, don't worry. Like like now we were not doing anything, but we both got busy and we weren't doing it for a while.
yeah.
But no, I mean, if the schedule is if it's if we're both free, we're definitely gonna be
And
we're
and
gonna be
and
doing.
look at, here's the blessing in disguise too, Elaine. Since let's say maybe ice ice's time is a lot more limited, and I don't know what will pop up for me, but regardless of that, it's obviously now that we know that it's not something that we can just like go in and out because ice has a bigger responsibility at work. Then maybe we'll put more value every time we go on board. Like we'll have
Exactly.
a we'll be more careful with how we run the show. We're
Exactly.
not gonna have one of these stupid, episodes where
We always stray.
yeah, like now we actually stayed to the with the topic. We were talking about
Exactly. That's
stress,
true.
and we stuck with it. And I think,
Oh, what can we do?
yeah,
The program director is like
I know it stuck with me
back,
because I was
and she's
trying to
gonna
pass
check this
it.
out. She's gonna check
I
this
was,
episode, and yeah,
I was trying to blame it on both of us,
she'll
and
evaluate you.
she kept telling me, "No, no, it's you. You're the one that brings up the green jokes. You're the one that starts talking about stuff." And I'm like, and now when I think about it, I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah." Now I really have to be my own. Like, see, that's the cool thing with me. It's like a lot of people probably think twice about correcting me or bringing up stuff to me because they think I might be offended because I'm so strong-willed about and I feel like I'm so engaged in what I'm into. But I can immediately turn it around and like switch it off. Like I might seem like I'm driven to do this one thing only, but if somebody brings something or calls something to my attention, and I always and I'll tell that to my wife because my wife will not correct me sometimes because she thinks I'm sweeto. I'm like,
Sweet to
no,
sweet.
I'm not sweeto.
Sweet to sweet. Okay, na. Sweet to sweet.
I'm not. Like, see, I'm not. I'm sweeto, but I'm not like the Pinoy sweeto where he's not gonna be
That's
corrected.
true.
I'm
No, no, we're
sweeto,
not
but
like
I
that.
can
We're
be
not like that.
corrected. Sweet. I'm like, I'm
That's true.
sweet.
All right.
I'm sweeto until someone calls me out. But when somebody calls me out, I'm like, I'm used to
No, I
criticism
don't
all
think
my
we have
life.
that problem ever
No,
since.
we
Like
don't. None of
that,
us.
th- that's why everybody, like our batch in Killer B, that's why we got along fine because nobody was sweeto. Like like we listen.
Yeah.
Like oh yeah,
We
yeah, you're
listen.
probably yeah, you're right. All right, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do something about that. So it
Yeah.
wasn't. No, I mean it wasn't that bad compared to other radio
I
stations. Like they would
know.
fight. They would fight because somebody said
There's,
something.
those are sweeto. Those are the
Yeah,
sweeto
yeah, yeah.
guys.
Like those are the sweeto guys.
Until now, even though nobody's listening to them and nobody knows them, they're still sweeto.
Exactly, man. I mean, you know what? People might think I'm sweeter, but I'm never. That's why when like what happened with Don, we were like in Manila, and he was all of a sudden he was like, "Dude, I really thought you were
Sweeto.
this asshole guy." He was like, "What? What made you think that?" Well, you have this rep. I'm like, "See, that's the thing.
Okay.
You
All right.
judge me before you met me."
Okay, before we
All right.
conclude,
Okay.
let's just share a couple of things of how we distress. Okay, so Patrick, well, maybe you could share. Mike, maybe you could share a little bit of how you distress. Alain, would love to hear how you distress.
Okay.
Like
Here's my.
go ahead, a
Here's the
couple of
tip.
yours.
Here's a tip. Be with the people that you know you can depend on in terms of like lifting you up, right?
Yeah, like don't magnify the stress.
Yes, because here's the thing. My wife knows me, but she babies me a lot, and I hate that, right? The only people who can like really put me in place or can like bring me back to
Your sister, your
like to
sister,
reality.
Kakay.
My sister, well, yeah, she does, but she's like way younger, so it's like it's
You don't
I mean,
take her. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no,
I get it.
dude, she's like way younger, and she's like sort of Gen Z type, who's like always crying about like I need my mental health. like
Oh
shut
shit.
up, like right?
Oh
So I
shit.
hate that. Like sometimes
I
like
know what you're
that,
saying. I know what you're
right?
saying. No offense to
So
people with mental health issues, but you know, we just
okay, yeah. I mean, I didn't mean it that way, but anyway, we'll deal with that in on
yeah,
on a
we'll have that
different.
as a topic. We'll
All
have that
right.
as a topic.
But here's the thing. So I was like talking to my wife, like she babies me. It's like, you know what? That's why I miss my dad because my dad would really put me in place, and Master Yoda, and us. Like this, we're talking right now, and
Yeah.
this is what I need.
Yeah.
Because like I was thinking like if my dad was like if he's alive and he would be listening to me and then I'd be like, oh, I'm so confused. Should I stay with my company and like have longer breaks and like my dad would be like, and like I'm driving far and like, and my dad would be like, dude, you have a car, you drive. It's like your problem is, like my father and Yoda would be like, their reaction would be like, Chong, like
Kana
Yoda would
yung
say this,
problema.
Chong. He would like say, ani na Chong ba? Mura kag nagproblema kung unsa imong kaunon, kung mukaon kag beef steak, chicken. Ano yung problema karon? Beef steak, fried chicken. Hindi gina problema nimo na. May tagi mo problema na. Putlo na ko imong kamot o imong tiil.
Kana problema. Kana problema.
Problema. So like these type of
Yeah, yeah,
conversations,
yeah,
it might be mundane, but these type of conversations bring me back. I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's actually fried chicken and beef steak. Like, yeah, I mean, how bad can it be? I'll take the beef
That's
steak
true.
anytime. Right? So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there with bigger salary, lesser breaks. But I'm like, it's not really like no breaks, lesser breaks. You still have a break. So what's the problem? Like my friends would say that. Like you would say that.
Plus,
all the
plus,
time.
you're gonna get Snow Switch finally after 50 years.
But still, I'm like, I didn't even say yes. I was just like, okay, maybe. It's like, Papa, on my birthday. I'm like, that's not even now. It's like, on my birthday. I'm like, maybe we'll get you that. If you can prove to me you can practice piano, basketball, and do good on your swimming and your homework,
That's
I will get you
God.
to swim.
That's God's way. Even if you don't believe in God or whatever, that's how He works. He's telling you, get your daughter a Switch. Damn it! You know what I'm saying?
So that's my first tip. Find
Okay.
that person. Like
Find a
the
person.
people that like surround yourself with those people.
The-
The
not a
ones
not a str-
who
not
think
an.
back.
I wouldn't say people will baby you like you said. Your wife babies you, so you kind of like allow yourself to think that way, and not look at the other perspective that your dad does. I'm not saying that she's an enabler, but it's like it's more of like when people tolerate that shit that we do, we don't really find a way to deal with it because it's like you know what I'm saying. And
True.
and I'm not saying like with my wife, she's kind of that way. She puts me in my place, but it's just that she's not. It's just that she thinks that I might take offense at something she might say or that her opinion, so she'd rather not say it. And when she says it, I'm actually thankful that she does,
Right.
because it's like I need that. Nobody knows me better than you do because I live with you, and your opinion is probably the opinion that counts the most to me because your opinion is coming from a perspective of a person who's seen me from my best and my worst. Whereas, like, if I hear it from my parents, they don't spend time with me anymore. If I hear it from my friends, they don't know me professionally. They know me as a friend. And, so her opinion actually really matters. But sometimes she'll hold herself back because, like I said, she thinks I'm sweeto. And, and I always tell her that, you know what? I only appear that way because, like, and it's people like, if people like that, if we allow them to be sweeto, then they'll always act like they are. So put them in their place, and that's when you find out if they are or not. And some people they act sweeto, but when you tell them something, they realize, and it's like a rude awakening for me. And so that's tip number one for you is to not be with people, or be with people who. I mean, it depends, right?
Yeah.
I guess it depends. Like for you,
I mean,
you appreciate how your dad and Master Yoda are, but
Right.
maybe for some people they might kill themselves if they were with people like that. Like what I'm saying. The
Exactly. So
effect,
what
the
I'm
effect
saying
may
is-
be different.
Right, that's true. So what I'm saying is like find the right people that I mean, you know how to deal with yourself. Like you know yourself. So
Yeah.
you know what kind of people you need around you. Me, that's what I needed. Somebody who would put me in my place, somebody who would joke about it, somebody who would like make fun of the moment. It's
Yeah.
like, like they will make fun of me about the certain situations. They would bring up past past shit that we've been through and be like, yeah, we were fine. You remember that thing that we did and it was like so bad, blah blah blah, and it
And we
worked out
survived it.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be fine. I'm like, all right, yeah, you're right. You're like I need that. But if you don't like that, you can stick with those people who like if you want to be baby like
You want to be coddled? Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. I don't want it. Like
I don't want that
makes-
too.
So it's like I need
I
a
don't want that
reality
too.
check. and
Yeah.
to challenge me. I'm like, all right, like like it's all right. I'm taking it personal. Like, all right, like Michael Jordan, I'm taking it personal. All right, okay, I'm gonna take this
So
to another level.
it's
All right.
so yeah, bro. My tips would be like when it comes to distressing, it's at the same time, it's like I guess if you don't have that luxury of having a person that you can deal with, that's a person who you can confide to or confide in, then which is my way of dealing with stress. I don't really like if I'm stressed out. I actually kind of don't want to get anybody involved, and which is a sad thing and a bad thing, and it could really be bad for you mental health wise if you don't share, what's in your mind. I'm more of like, well, I guess I'm always distressing even when I'm not stressed.
Right.
So that kind of lessens the impact whenever you're stressed. Like, for example, like
That's true.
I always play video games after a hosting gig. I always like, you know, treat myself to whatever, like if I play the guitar, there's always an activity for me that I do that's outside of what might be stressing me out.
True.
So
True.
since that's something that I regularly do anyway, it kind of lessens the blow when stress comes in. But
Hmm.
the funny thing is, I'm talking about tiny bits of stress, but the heavy stress, it paralyzes you. And I'm sure Ice can relate to it. The heavy stress, it paralyzes you. Like your appetite is gone, your
That's true.
ability to think positive is like gone, it's wiped out. Any semblance of joy that otherwise you would appreciate
Yeah.
if it's heavy stress,
Hmm.
you, it's black and white. You're like you see
It
things in
is. It is. I
gray,
think what
right?
you're trying to say is like what Patrick is actually trying to say as
Yeah, go
well.
ahead, read
That
it.
there are certain kinds of stress that sorts itself out, like work related stress. I do agree. And when you say that a family stresses you more, I do agree with that, because family is very, like, I family is very important. And I realized that when something happened to my, like something happened to my brother a long time ago, and I just realized like
You
all
want
these
some?
other shit that I've
Get
been
your
through,
yes.
they're like, they're they're nothing compared to what my brother went through and what my family went through. So it was like, me, if I think about it, like, yeah, I'd rather like lose jobs, like any job in the world, than like
Oh
to have
yeah,
a
then
family,
lose a loved
to
one or something,
yeah,
right?
like, but to have a family, like, like go through something, or like even bad, like even
I
worse than,
agree. Or
like
your child,
you lose
if you
them,
if,
right?
if you're
Yeah.
a parent, you get
So
sick.
it's
You're right. You're
so
right.
that's like, right, yeah, whatever. Like, I can trade anything. Like, I don't care. Like, yeah, I mean, I'd be fine. But these
Like point
people,
of
they're,
point of comparison.
yeah,
Okay, is this the heavy? Okay, you went through stress when you had to leave radio and go through. But I mean, I think yeah, I agree with Patrick, and I know Ice. You cried over work. I've never cried over work or losing work. I mean, radio was something I love,
right.
but when I resigned from it, I took it. I bit the and swallowed the jagged little pill. But it's just for me, it's like it's not it's not one of those things I would buckle down emotionally.
No,
If it's work.
yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, yeah, Patrick was right. Like, it just, like things just worked out. Eventually, I found a job that was like okay, that, like that, I was having fun, and now it's like it's gone. It's a new job now. Maybe I'm gonna have fun with my new job. It's gonna be really fantastic. So we don't know that, but I'm pretty sure it will be, because um like, if you are who you are. When I was in radio, I made it fun. When I was, doing my like my ALT gig, I made it fun. Now I'm going to do this new thing. I'm going to be a kindergarten teacher. I'm going to make it much, much more fun. So I think that, that I think that explains it. It's just like, it's work. It's something that you have the ability to, like to do something about. Whereas if it's something that's concerning family,
There's no
and
control
you're
sometimes,
not in
right?
control, you
Not in
don't have
control.
power. Like what happened to my dad? He died. He got sick. I don't have control over that.
No control.
Like, no matter what happens, like, no, I mean, no matter what I do, there's just like nothing I can do anymore. Like, there's just nothing, no effect. No.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. So yeah, I think that's right. It's just like, if you have your family, you should be thankful about it, because the people that you love, they're, yeah, they play a big, big role in shaping you and
Because you hear of these stories,
helping you
especially
out.
in Japan. You hear of these people like taking their lives because they lost a job, or because they owe people money, or because they went through the pandemic. I mean, I know people. I know people who took their own lives like during the pandemic. I mean, not like close to, but like a friend of a friend or someone I met and hung out with, and I found out that he did this. And I don't know if it's the pandemic, initially that led it to that, but I'm sure there was a sense of you know, loss and whatever during the pandemic. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people had limited movement. A lot of people didn't get to travel, didn't get to see their friends. A lot of people did. So that alone, was stressful for a lot of people. But for me, having a new child that kept me busy. So and see that's the thing. Sometimes when you encounter stress, there's a reminder, and I think this might like a final tip, right? When you're going through something stressful, an aspect of your life that's very stressful, look into another aspect of your life that you've neglected, and see if maybe that can be your shock absorber. Because sometimes you might be like, let's say you're going through something with your relationship with your girlfriend, right? And she's been your world for how long? And you've neglected your friends because of how much you've invested time and effort and emotion to your relationship, and now it's crumbling. Maybe look into hanging out with your friends and see if that will sort of soften the blow of the other aspect of your life that's stressing you out. And because sometimes we just focus on one thing and we think there's nothing else available for us,
And
right?
because the routine disappears, you get stressed out. I
Yes,
mean, that
the
usually
routine
happens.
disappears. It's a routine,
And
yes.
so the only thing to like, you can deal with that by making a new routine,
A new routine.
right? Because
Correct.
when me and my wife, when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and we had that really, we have that dark past, like that particular, like time that we, like we broke up. I think, yeah, I would tell my wife that, oh, this is what happened. I'm so thankful that Marvin was there. Marvin was the first one who called me and asked me about what was going on. And he was the first one to know about, or to to absorb the shock from that breakup. And he was there for the most part. Like, he would introduce me to people. I would be like going to venue with Marvin and his classmates, and
And
he
Marvin's a
would,
good listener. Marvin's
he
a good
is, he is.
listener.
So he
He's a
was
good
there the
listener.
whole time. He introduced me to a lot of people. He even, like, like, that's how I met your wife, Bags. And yeah, after that, I was just wondering, like, just wondering. I was a wanderer. Like, I didn't have a girlfriend anymore, and I didn't want to have a girlfriend. I was just like, I'm just gonna go to places. Yoda wasn't there because
And then
Yoda's
you had one too many situations where hold on.
that's yeah,
This
that's
is
true, right?
kind of overdoing it. Overcompensating.
I was just like doing a lot of things, and I was just like, yeah, Marvin was there, Bags was there, like their classmates were there. I met a lot of people, and the Killer Big crew was there. Like, we had those parties, and I was
We
just like,
did.
all
We
right,
did. We did.
and the party was like, so, like, it was like
And
4 times a week,
and
and I
you
was
would
just like,
you
holy
know what?
shit,
And it all happened at the right time for you. Because
exactly, and I was just like,
because
all right,
because you wouldn't have appreciated that as much had you still been caught up in your relationship,
that's
right?
true, that's
You
true,
would have been like, yeah, yeah, but then you were open to it because you all of a sudden had this freedom,
right?
which initially you thought was a curse, right? You're like, but you
So
just
yeah,
realized that, you have to realize, people, that time will always be the same. It's always going to be 24 hours a day,
right.
365 days a year, regardless of whether you have that girlfriend or not, or you have that job or not. So time is always
You
available for
just have to
you.
hold on. You just have to hold on.
It's just up to you what you feel or who you fill your time with. So if a person or a situation's taken away, dude, you still have that time. It's still available, to do it with other people and other things. And that concludes it because we overstayed our welcome.
Tomorrow.
No, no,
But
no. We
anyway,
started. We started late too. We started late. So,
yeah, all right,
mind
okay.
you, people. Mind you, people. It's 10:40 in Japan. In
It
the
is, it
Philippines, it's
is.
9:30. It's
Sorry.
10:40. It's almost 11 in Japan. So I
All right,
understand.
okay. All right, so
Thanks for
here's
hanging with us, guys. Yeah, good.
Here's the tip from Alan. We'll just like get it out of the way. Best way to distress is to talk about it. That's why having a confidant is so important. Just someone who listens and relates.
That's why
And
we have this show.
agreeing with you, Rod. Yeah, find the silver lining.
Hey, I have a lot. I already have a lot. Look.
Intro boys no more. Thank you, Patrick, for noticing.
Yay! Success. We we actually
Thanks, our
did it.
Program director.
I know.
Thanks,
I
our
told
program
you.
director.
When I get told, when I get called out, I become a changed man. And unfortunately, she's not watching this episode. She's in Vietnam.
Terrible.
So she missed the episode. Dang
But
it. Yeah.
you can see it later. All right.
See?
So, when will we have
Good
it?
night. Good night, Gab. But we'll talk to Gab next time as well. We were talking about stress. I'm sure Gab goes through that. He lives alone and stuff. So he went through a lot of that.
true.
So,
So
okay.
we're
So
gonna
next
have-
up. Yeah.
What, Friday,
When?
Saturday?
I don't know. You're the busy guy. You're the one with the new job.
That's a weekend. That's Saturday's fine with me. Like, I mean, you have some stuff
Saturday.
going
Oh,
on.
no. I have a hosting gig.
All right. Okay.
Sunday, I'm okay. Saturday, I
Friday-
have a hosting gig.
All right. Okay. We can. I'm meeting Marvin on Sunday in Kyoto.
Oh,
So I
nice. Cool.
Right. So
Monday.
If we get back early, we can do Sunday. Like even.
Okay,
for a
let me
bit,
know.
like,
But I doubt,
30
though. I
an hour.
doubt. I doubt. You
No,
guys
it's
are
ready
going to
to
have
go,
fun.
'cause we have to come home early because I told him we're meeting brunch because my target was to leave at 2 and be back before 6.
Okay.
So I
Is
could
he
do
in
like an
town?
hour
Is he
or so.
is he there already?
He will be flying in tomorrow. He'll be flying in to Osaka, and I'm meeting him on Sunday in Kyoto because Saturday's busy for snow. There's basketball, there's piano.
How long
My
is he
wife has
staying
to
there
work.
for? I mean, in Japan in general?
He's gonna be here 10 days, but
Oh, okay,
he'll
good enough.
be traveling. But it's a good thing that he reserved a day for me. He was like, all right, I'm gonna meet you on
Nice.
Sunday. So we're gonna have like a few
what-
hours and like catch up.
As well.
So-
Take pictures, man. Take pictures. All right. So,
I will. So maybe Sunday we'll see you. Sunday.
congratulations, Ice. Congratulations on this new chapter.
All right,
Congratulations to Switch,
Thank
to,
you, I
to,
knew
to
that.
Snow finally getting a Switch.
I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
All right. So thanks a lot, boys. We are not the intro boys anymore. Thank you
Yes.
for noticing. And right, this has been Rod and Iceman. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you Sunday. All right. We are out. Good night. Hang on. Where is that thing? All right. Okay. All right. We are out. Good night. See you on the next one.